And we would like to welcome those of you who just finished watching Washington versus Stanford volleyball. We're here at Kagan Stadium. Stanford with a 1-0 lead over the Oregon State Beavers in the 13th minute. Troy Clarity, glad that you're with us. And if you are just joining us, you missed a terrific goal from Maya Doms. Just an absolute bomb. A Doms bomb from about 25, 30 yards out that went in the top shelf and gave Stanford the 1-0 lead in the 7th minute of action. Kiki Pickett to throw it in. To Coleman for a moment. Now Dom slides it in Williams' direction, but a bit too strong. And Bridget Skiba collects it for the Beavers. Skiba, the junior, the keeper for Oregon State, had 5 saves against the Cardinal the last time these two teams met. McReynolds tried to skip it, but perhaps put a bit too much on it. And a goal kick coming up for the Card. Stanford 4-3 on the season, 3-1, and in second place as the day began in Pac-12 play. That has not changed after today's 2 earlier results. As you'll hear Bridget Skiba, who has played better as the season has gone along. Meanwhile, Oregon State 2-7 on the season, 0-5 in Pac-12 play, looking for their first win in conference action. Kaylin Freed throws it in and gets it back. Off of Campbell's foot. And Stanford in control. Good feint. Good weave. Brady shows. And the Cardinal moving the ball well. JoJo Harbor with Weiner closing in defensively. Skips too hard off of Savannah Coleman. If you're just now joining us, Madison Haley out for this game. She's been carrying a bit of a knock, even coming into the season, and really has not been 100% at any point during this year. So Paul Ratcliffe is giving her this game off. Cardinal have been a bit short-staffed for much of the season, and that is the case here again today with Madison Haley, as mentioned. There she is, and Naomi Gurma off to her right, towards the left side of your screen. And Haley, certainly a big-time dangerous player, the senior from Dallas, Texas. Quiet season for her to this point with just 1 assist, but she has been getting chances, which was not quite the case earlier in the season, as the ball would head her way and she'd be swarmed on by 2 or 3 defenders and get thumped and either get a whistle or not. And that would be that. But now Haley's starting to get chances as the season has gone along. Well, no chance here today, as she is in street clothes for this one. Amy Sayre also unable to go for this one against the Cardinal, or against the Beavers, check that. Now, Sarah Paulson, one of the Paulson twins, who had missed the last couple of games with a strain, did not play against Cal or Washington, is dressed for this one. So potentially some reinforcements for Stanford in that department. Sarah Paulson did not get the start today. Her sister Catherine is out there. And what a jolt those two have helped provide Stanford so far this season. The cross towards Harbor. Bumped off for a moment, gets it back. Amber Jackson, the slide tackle. And collected eventually by Skiba. Studer. Too much. No fans allowed here still at Kagan Stadium. But we are glad that you are here watching wherever you are. Home, on the go, Pac-12 Network, Pac-12 Now, doesn't matter. Towards the center spot, and a collision between Coleman and Studer. This game can be a physical one sometimes. Harbor looking, the left foot, and the little bump across the back. Savannah Coleman has a bit of a chat with the official just to get some things clarified, but Coleman taking Studer to the ground. Coleman involved in one of the more dramatic moments of the season, certainly for Stanford and probably for the Pac-12 to this point. Had a chance for a game-time penalty kick in the 88th minute against the Bears, but was denied by Angelina Anderson. Swooped in, McReynolds chips it back to Weiner. They can't connect. Williams tries to turn. Coleman has it. And played back to Brady. Well, anticipatory work by Brianna McReynolds. She's just swooped in from out of nowhere to try to get something going, and is still working hard, trying to get the ball back for the Oregon State Beavers. McReynolds, the sophomore from Glendale, California, scored 4 goals in the first 3 games for Oregon State, but hasn't scored since. Her last goal came against Cal on February 26th. Now, she did have an assist against Stanford on the 28th, but trying to find a way into the back of the net for her first time and coming up on exactly a month. Down the line, Williams has to turn beyond her reach, poked in the other direction by Ellsworth. The turn, McReynolds just chips it slightly forward, and Meyer comes up to claim it. That's a good ball from McReynolds. As gave a chance to a teammate to come crashing in, perhaps make an effort at it. Who knows? You might have something happening on the other end. That one slid forward towards Samantha Williams, but to no avail. Amber Jackson there to thwart that one. Brady, let's fly off of the Beavers, but wide of the post. That went off of Studer. And so a corner kick coming up for the Cardinal. Well, long shots. Well, one of them has at least worked for Stanford so far, and that was a nifty step over. As Brady tried to get some distance from Sydney Studer, which is not easy to do. Or from Amber Jackson, check that. Corner kick, right foot, spinning. Knocked around and off the head, I believe, of Kennedy Wesley. Substitution coming up for the Beavers. Haley Richardson is coming in, replacing Jazzy Campbell. Oh, Savannah Coleman, what a moment that this season has been for her, especially after missing the 2019 season with an injury. Got hurt during the preseason, an exhibition scrimmage against Missouri, and she was lost for the season. Watched her teammates win a national championship. Coleman had already established herself as one of the more dangerous strikers, certainly in the Pac-12, maybe even beyond that scope. And this year she has had some clutch goals. The work of art against Colorado and a penalty kick to win it against Pepperdine. Ahead towards Williams. Williams trying to get it back. Nope, not quite. Cardinal to try it again. Switching field, gets to Harbor. Blocked. Richardson hanging in there. And Stanford will kick. Quick restart. Leontini, left foot, down the line. Oh, and back post, and perhaps a bit too tall for everyone. Well, we mentioned some of Savannah Coleman's work late in games. Stanford has done some of its best work late in games. Check out what they've done after the 75th minute, as more than half of the Cardinals' goals this season have come in the final minutes of regulation. And Coleman, a big part of that. From Skiba. Coleman and Ellsworth locked up for a moment. And then Studer sent tumbling. Coleman being called over by the official. Let's take another look. Definite contact. As Coleman and Studer have been locked up on a couple of occasions during this match. And the official saying, hey, I'm keeping an eye on this. Watch out. Don't make me go into the book. McReynolds trying to track it down, but Wesley able to sweep it away. Here comes the first corner kick of the match for Oregon State. Well, Stanford defensively, as Kennedy Wesley coming through. McReynolds is a handful, has the speed, is able to break things down. And defenses certainly have to account for her. From Freed. Over Meyer's head, into the mixer. Back through, no! Second effort absorbed. And the Cardinal get away with that one. Here's Pickett. Pickett outside to Williams, who has more room and space. Williams stops. Ahead to Pickett, who lets it roll through. Does it go through? Is it a goal? It most certainly is. There's Kiki Pickett as she puts the Cardinal ahead 2-0. What a nutty sequence, and it finishes with just a little flick. And I think Oregon State, and so was I, was thinking that maybe the flag was going to be up on the far side and that Pickett will be called offside. Instead, it's called a goal. Stanford will take it. And Kiki Pickett gets her first goal of the year. But it all started with Oregon State being unable to pounce on a corner kick perfectly placed by Kaylin Freed, who has done a fantastic job in that department for the Beavers this year, as it sailed almost over everyone towards the back. A couple of white shirts had chances to try to put one through, but could not find a way through the Stanford wall. And that's perhaps a shining example of one thing that Oregon State head coach Matt Kagan wants to see more of from his team. Get gritty goals. Goals that you have to fight for. Goals that are scored off of balls that are bouncing around in the box, and you fight for it and you find a way to put it through. Oregon State unable to do that in that sequence. Stanford, meanwhile, unable to turn the tables as Meyer swipes that one away. The long distance shot from Oregon State. That shot from Abby Schwartz, who got the game winner against the Cardinal. She's been fighting illness, non-COVID related. That's great news. And they're still getting back on track a bit. All right foot high towards the penalty spot, off of Studer's head, but it spills towards the back and out of bounds. Well, Studer certainly a force in the air, as she was in the area. And I believe the ball did glance off of her head. Her sister, Jenna, is Arizona's starting center back. Sydney actually scored against Arizona in the 2019 season, and Jenna was in the stands as a Wildcat commit. And so Sydney scored and then ran over to the bleachers and pointed at Jenna and said, hey, that one's for you. And Sydney actually admits that Jenna's a bit more of a natural center back. As Sydney sometimes admits that she has to fight the urge to go forward. But the Studer sisters making big impacts on their respective programs in Corvallis and in Tucson. Here's Amber Jackson with it. Nice ball down the sideline to Richardson in the corner, keeping it on the ground. Trying to turn. Instead swept forward by the Cardinals. Samantha Williams trying to fight off Jackson. Coleman playing it back. And Wesley sending it forward. Weinert. Boy, I thought she might try it with the left foot. Dom's back to Brady. Should note Astrid Wheeler has come in for the Cardinal, replacing Julia Leontini. Wheeler, a freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. The top-ranked recruit, according to TopDrawerSoccer.com. It's Wheeler who had it for a moment. Pickett. And now back to Wheeler. Waiting for a moment. Keeping it on the far side. Pickett again. Harbor's been showing for the ball underneath us for much of the last minute or so. Hasn't gotten it yet. Switch back to the far side. Offside. Called on the Cardinal. Well, the linesmen have been busy so far in this match, with a couple of offside calls on both squads to this point, and arguably one that maybe should have been called on Stanford that maybe led to the Cardinals' second goal of the evening. But Stanford will take it. Weinert turns. Weinert, left foot, off the mark. Weinert, all Pac-12 third team in the 2019 season. She's been working hard. Just a bit in a rut lately, according to Matt Kagan. Just trying to find that finishing touch. And she had a terrific 2019 season with 9 goals. Led Oregon State in that category that season. Ellsworth settles it down. Richardson calls for it. And it went in her direction. All she can do is skip it towards Weinert. Weinert. A hard shot off of Meyer. Corner kick for Oregon State. Corner kicks, set pieces have been a hallmark for the Beavers this year. That young lady, Kaylin Freed, certainly a big part of that. She actually didn't start taking corners until this past fall, when the coaches put that on her plate. And they have been very, very happy with how things have gone there, and it's shown in Freed's assist numbers, as she has 5 on the year. Front post, headed out of action. Freed tries to get to it first, and does. Sends it back to Jackson. 30 minutes in here on the farm. Glad you're with us. Stanford ahead 2-0. Troy Clarity taking you through it. As Skiba comes off of her line and clears it and sends it out of bounds. Maya Doms in the 7th minute. She shot one from Sunnyvale. And Kiki Pickett with a poke in the 25th minute. That accounts for all of your scoring to this point, with the Beavers looking for their first Pac-12 win of the season. Stanford trying to stay in second place. Well, here's good news for the Cardinal. Sarah Paulson seeing her first game action since the Colorado match on March the 7th. Had missed the last couple with a strain. Had been day-to-day throughout much of this week. Well, I guess today is her day. Paulson, the freshman from Los Altos, California, just down the road from Stanford, along with her twin sister, Catherine Paulson. Those two each with terrific moments this season. Ahead to Coleman. Back to Wheeler. Chipped out, Freed. Got a foot on it. Cardinal to throw it in. We play on. McReynolds well marked. Hikes it forward, but well out of the reach of any of her fellow white shirts. And here come the Cardinal again. Instead, Schwartz to Richardson. Trying to locate it, Pickett swoops in and knocks it out of bounds. Oregon State on an upward trajectory as a program overall over the last few years, won just 2 matches in 2018. Then Matt Kagan came on the scene in 2019. Oregon State won 11. The most wins in a single season for the Beavers since 2012. And they just missed the NCAAs that year. Matt Kagan believed that if Oregon State would beat Oregon that season, that they would be in the tournament. Well, the Beavers did beat the Ducks, but their names were not called on Selection Monday. As Coleman is off and running. Outside. Waiting for the moment. Up top, Coleman with options. Coleman, left foot, keeps it on the ground, blocked by Ellsworth. Pickett getting into the action. And fancy footwork allows her to fight free and get a little breathing room. Finally, the Beavers control. Nickerson, hounded immediately by Doms, who scored the first goal this evening. Hard off of McReynolds' foot, and it bounces right below me. Sarah Paulson with 2 goals this year, one against Utah, another against Colorado. Hard for freshmen to have an impact. But the Paulson twins have been able to make their presences felt. Jackson and Ellsworth were in the same place at the same time. And now Williams couldn't get there in time. Well, Oregon State missing out on the NCAAs in the 2019 season. I asked Matt Kagan, given how close you guys came to making the postseason, did that provide any extra fuel coming in throughout the shutdown and coming into this season? He said, you know, we are a program that's on the rise and gaining momentum. And the kids saw how close we came, and the kids see how hard that the team is playing this year, despite not getting the results. But overall, he's very happy with the direction that the program is heading in, and soccer is becoming a bigger and bigger deal in Corvallis. Certainly the men's program off to a terrific start. Terry Boss and that crew, what he has done is super commendable. as it is for Matt Kagan in Oregon State. Substitutions for both teams. Amy Sayer seeing her first playing time in a while for the Cardinal. A freshman from Sydney, Australia. Pickett weaving. And Coleman, the closest Cardinal to it, but the ball played just a bit too far forward. Brianna Pizarro is also in for the Oregon State Beavers. She's a freshman from Valley Stream, New York. And Pizarro said that she always wanted to play in one of the best conferences in college soccer. Well, Brianna, you got it. Welcome to the Pac-12. And she is a tremendous left foot. From Long Island to Corvallis. How about that? Schwartz beats one. Tried to skip it outside. It does get to Pizarro, I believe, the turnaround, and she can't hang on to it. Ellsworth, the thigh trap. Back to Studer. And Sayer tracking it down. Wheeler. Williams backing up. Now turns. One-on-one. Williams. The poke gets some space just ahead of Wheeler. And it skips off of Paulson's foot. But Coleman there for a second effort. Swept out. And a goal kick, I believe, coming up here. Well, that was some nifty passing, and that was well set up, and Stanford appeared to be putting itself in a decent position at a chance, and Williams with the nifty stop on the dime and then the flick to get free, and was able to look for a teammate. A lot of little plays that you might not expect a freshman to make, the savvy to fight free in close defensive quarters. Williams has shown that so far. Coleman wins it back. And it's out of bounds off of the Cardinal. Paige Rubenstein coming in for the Cardinal, as that substitution was just a moment ago, replacing Catherine Paulson. McReynolds tripped up after the ball went out of bounds. Called on Oregon State. That's Marley Salvator for the Beavers, the sophomore. And Jackson to set it up. Jackson had an assist against the Cardinal when these two teams met. Off we go. High. Meyer calls for it, punches it out, and the Cardinal get it out of the box. And Pickett leading the charge. Far side. Tried to aim for Pickett in the middle. And a corner kick for the Cardinal. Well, Cardinal have been working on transition throughout much of this week, trying to shore some things up in that area. And that was well played by the Cardinal, with Pickett taking command. Left-footed corner towards the front post, kicked backwards. And no chance to finish it, but the ball falls off the side of the box. Towards the penalty spot. Wheeler, score! rebound. The Cardinal on the spot and up 3-0. Beavers just could not quite get the clearance, but Paige Rubenstein setting things up off of Salvator and then Wheeler. Bang! First goal in Wheeler's Cardinal career. So the youth of this Cardinal squad, and there's more youth on this Stanford team than we've normally seen, at least more youth getting considerable playing time, as Wheeler finding her way in the scoring column. Wheeler, the Paulson twins, and Samantha Williams have been some of the main freshmen to watch. Julia Leontini in that mix as well for the Cardinal. And Stanford looking for more. Coleman punched over the top. Skiba able to swipe that one out of harm's way. Skiba directing the traffic. And a pause for a moment as the Cardinal make a substitution. Mia Watanabe coming in. Watanabe, a freshman from Hawaii. Kicked out by Oregon State. Back to Engie. Engie. Off of Brady. To Sayer. Gets away from one and gets away from another and sends it to Williams. Williams on Jackson. Sends it. The turn. Does she have an angle? Yes, she does, but it's taken away. It's knocked away. As Wheeler was looking for her second goal of the evening. Another look at it. And you see the ball movement becoming more and more crisp for the Cardinal. And Stanford able to get little windows, one-on-one off of Oregon State defenders. Wheeler somehow able to make an angle out of that one and put one on frame to Skiba. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the first half. A heater towards the penalty spot, knocked out by the Beavers. Far side with Ellsworth on defense as that ball off of Oregon State, almost out of the park. And yet another corner for Stanford. Sarah Paulson to take it with 1 minute remaining in the first half. High towards the penalty spot. Spills out to the other side. Centered. In traffic. And Skiba able to collect it. Skiba in the middle of the forest. Able to pluck it out of there. Heading out of bounds before it's kept alive by the Cardinal. Back to Pickett with the captain's armband. Brady turns. Clock ticking. Brady to Williams. Williams beyond Watanabe's reach. And the first half comes to a close. Kiki Pickett helping to lead the scoring charge for the Stanford Cardinal. She got the Cardinal on the board with her goal in the 25th minute. Maya Doms in the 7th and Astrid Wheeler in the 41st. Put it together. Cardinal lead Oregon State 3-0 at the half. Pac-12 women's soccer is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Nice night to be out on the quad. A nice night to be here at Kagan Stadium. So far for the Cardinal, it has been a nice night for Stanford women's soccer. A 3-0 lead the Cardinal are carrying to the second half over the Oregon State Beavers. Let's get you our State Farm Showcase highlights. Maya Dom Stadium wasted little time. This was in the 7th minute. Has all kinds of space and time. Waited, okay, I'll take a crack at it. And she hits a big-time bombasso of a goal from Maya Doms. Then in the 25th minute, in transition, something that Paul Radcliffe wanted this team to work on, Samantha Williams somehow finding Kiki Pickett, and Pickett with the flick it into the net gives Stanford a 2-0 lead. Later in the first half, as Stanford tries to finish off a corner kick, ball falls to Astrid Wheeler, boom! As she puts it through, the freshman scoring her first goal in a Cardinal uniform. Put those together, the Cardinal with a 3-0 lead over the Oregon State Beavers. And coming into this match, Oregon State the last couple of games that had many, many more chances than their opponents. Not quite the case here this time around, as Stanford has had more chances, they've had more possession. Oregon State has had a few here and there, but have only been able to put 2 shots on goal at this point. So Stanford putting it together for the first 45 minutes or so, as the Cardinal maintaining a 3-0 lead over the Oregon State Beavers. Hey, have you heard that the Pac-12 is doing pretty darn well in both the men's and women's basketball tournaments? Yes, it's true. How about those Beavers on the men's side? They keep it going, one of 4 teams in the Pac-12 making it to the Sweet 16. And on the women's side, 3 teams in the Sweet 16. Of course, the Cardinal, the #1 overall seed there, carrying the torch for the Pac-12. Cardinal get things going again on Sunday afternoon. So it truly is. And man, it's great to have March Madness back on this side of the planet. Well, for Stanford right now, even though Madison Haley is out for this game, she did not suit up. She is in street clothes, as she has been carrying a bit of an injury throughout much of the season, and Paul Ratcliffe did not decide to suit up Madison Haley for this one. But even so, the other forwards for the Cardinal working quite hard. Savannah Coleman has been all over the place as usual. Samantha Williams getting her second start of the season, making an impact as well. But the goals have really come from the midfield and the defense. Kiki Pickett in transition beating everyone after Oregon State couldn't pounce on a ball that was moving around the Stanford box, as they could not get it done off the corner kick. Stanford instead turning the other direction, countering and getting the ball in the back of the net. Perhaps the most impressive goal for Stanford today, although I'm sure those other goals by Doms and Wheeler are right up there as well. Busy night, of course, around the conference. In Pac-12 women's soccer, 2 finals are in the book, as USC beat Arizona 1-0. Washington with a 1-0 win over Utah, check that, in Salt Lake City. They're at the half, down in Westwood, and UCLA leads Arizona State 1-0. Both of those teams in the rankings, and Oregon leading Cal 1-0 as that game being played. Not at Edwards Stadium, as the track team is currently using that facility, but Cal women's soccer playing this season up at Witter Rugby Field. There's Maya Doms. You saw her fantastic goal from out of nowhere, it seemed. The long-range missile from Maya connecting and putting the Cardinal on the board in the 7th minute of this one. While Oregon State, the main theme for them the last couple of weeks has been finish your chances. Well, here in the second half, the Beavers need to start getting some chances. But that's only the half of it. Cardinal and the Beavers are underway as we begin the second half. Troy Clarity, glad you're here with us. Stanford looking to maintain its position in second place in the Pac-12. While the Beavers, if they want to get their first Pac-12 win tonight, they got some work to do. A reminder that Stanford's losses to Cal and Oregon State earlier this year, neither of those were conference matches, so they did not count in the Pac-12 standings. Paul Radcliffe feels very fortunate about that development. He says, yeah, it's from that standpoint, even though we're disappointed with the results, it's still kind of crazy to think that we're still in second place in the conference at this point. But that being said, his message to the team isn't, hey, isn't it cool that we're still in second? The message is that, hey, let's find ways to get better every day. In the air to Wesley. Chipped forward. Studer tries to return. She handles it again to Amber Jackson. Jackson, the freshman, finds a teammate on the far side. Gets it back. Aimed for the corner, but finds a Cardinal instead. Coming in and making the interception momentarily before Stanford gets possession back. Down the sideline, turning on the Jets. And out of bounds. There's Savannah Coleman, redshirt junior from Centennial, Colorado. Officially 2 shots in the first half. She's on the Mack Herman Trophy watch list to start the season. She actually scored a couple goals against the Beavers her freshman season in 2017. Corner kick number 6 for Stanford. Towards the penalty spot, Ellsworth sends it out of bounds, and the Cardinal will throw it in. Coleman also had an assist against Oregon State in 2018. So she's been able to notch points against the Beavers. Samantha Williams fighting for it, gets it. Coleman, 4 white shirts, tries to poke it through the center and slide, and it's wide of the net. It was JoJo Harbor who had a chance at it. She tried to make the sliding attempt. Not bad. As that ball just rolled towards the penalty spot. Seemed like it was in slow motion before Harbor was trying to sweep it towards the goal. Doms, taken by Coleman instead. Puts it forward, too strong. Did Oregon State last touch it? Yes, it did. That was a nifty, nifty ball. And the Cardinal to take yet another corner. Towards the front post, squirts through, and out of bounds. Somehow that skipped through everyone. As that one had a bit of pace on it. Not the high floater, but instead a bit of a bender. I believe Samantha Williams had a chance perhaps on the back post. Skiba waiting for everyone to get set. She had 2 saves in the first half, as did Cardinal keeper Katie Meyer. Aiming for McReynolds, does get to her foot. And she was in the area to make that a bit more difficult for Stanford defensively than maybe it should have been. It will result in a goal kick, however, for the Cardinal. Pickett. Instead, Richardson. towards the touchline. Skips off a Pickett corner for Oregon State. That was Maddie Tetz working on Kiki Pickett. Tetz, a sophomore from Happy Valley, Oregon. Helena Brown also in the match for Oregon State. So seeing a couple of new faces that we hadn't quite seen to this point for Oregon State. But McReynolds, a very familiar face, sends the corner beyond everyone. And the whistle called on Stanford. We talked about Kiki Pickett at the start of the show. So many fantastic moments. As quickly became a fan favorite from her first steps on the pitch here at Kagan Stadium her freshman year, and has done so many fantastic and wonderful things. And with this being a younger squad than normal for Stanford, her leadership has been counted on throughout this weird season. Set piece for Oregon State. In traffic, knocked away. Katie Meyer with the swipe. Oregon State looking to finish. Trying to keep it alive along the touchline and doesn't. Maddie Tetz had a crack at it, but could not save it from going out of bounds. But speaking of saves, Katie Meyer denying Mackenzie Weinert, and Kaylin Freed does a fantastic job of placing the ball, and it was right on Weinert's foot. And it's been that kind of season for the most part, or at least of late anyway, for Weinert. She's been working hard, she just hasn't been able to find ways to get one into the back of the net. That being said, terrific stuff from Katie Meyer. Studer wins possession. Leslie working on Weinert. Back to Ellsworth. Jackson. The chip outside. Who's it off of? Off of Stanford. Oregon State ball. JoJo Harbor disagrees. McReynolds the turn in traffic. Pickett snuffing that one out. Oregon State has had a tough schedule this year, playing ranked teams in 4 straight weeks. California schools, all one after the other. Went to the Arizona schools, or at least the Arizona schools came to Corvallis. Now they're facing the Bay Area schools. That is a gauntlet, but it's also live from the Pac-12. Stanford doing well to save that possession. Pickett trying to get it back, and does. Pickett. Nope. Williams. Williams in the box. No. Doms waits. Left foot on the ground. Sent away. Cardinal putting in a workman's-like effort in winning balls. Meanwhile, the Beavers losing their touch in the passing department over the last minute or so. Engie to Pickett. Plays it back to Wesley. Some pressure. Schwartz with it. Schwartz cuts. Lets loose. And the easy catch for Katie Meyer. Abby Schwartz, sophomore from Port Moody, British Columbia. She wears number 12 for Christine Sinclair, of course, with the Canadian national team, the Portland Thorns. She wants to be on that Canadian national team, so she wears number 12 to remind her of that dream. Leontini back to Wesley, headed towards Harbor. Beyond Richardson. Harbor, the quick recognition, getting it back. The give and go. Samantha Williams. Maddie Ellsworth wins the race. Did that skip off of Studer's foot on its way out of bounds? It sure did. Ellsworth also touched it before that, so it would have been Cardinal ball anyway. Moot point now as Oregon State to throw it in. Maddie Ellsworth all over the place defensively for Oregon State, as you might expect. Logged a lot of minutes in her career. She's played every minute this season. Missed only 4 minutes last year, did Maddie Ellsworth. Played every minute in 27 straight games coming into this one. She has been super dependable. Out to Maddie Tetz. Pickett hustling. Doesn't touch it. Out of bounds. Goal kick. Ho-hum. Pickett just snuffing out another opponent's opportunity. Drafted number 4 overall by Kansas City in the NWSL draft back in January. Off of Brown's foot. Stanford to throw it in. Plenty of room for the Cardinal to work for the moment. With Sarah Paulson. Nope, that was Leontini. 26, not 16. Doms out to the far side. Sarah Paulson has played in this match. You saw her come in the first half. Towards McReynolds. McReynolds chopped down from behind. Engie and Leontini tag teaming on McReynolds. As it's been this kind of evening for McReynolds at times, as she gets clipped from the backside. And McReynolds has been able to get some room at times, but more often than not, she has been given very little space to operate. McReynolds and Freed standing over the ball, perhaps going over the situation. With the other Beavers mapping out their routes to goal. Catherine Paulson subbing in for the Cardinal. She runs right in and joins the 3-woman wall. Freed steps over. McReynolds with pace, knocked over the top. Boy, that was a terrific hit from McReynolds. Meyer with eyes on it the whole way, and a corner kick for Oregon State. So McReynolds will try again, this time from the corner. High towards the back of the box. Trying to keep it alive. Stanford wanted a foul. They don't get it, but they will get the corner. With Kaylin Freed flying in. Freed was the 2016 Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Oregon. And the 6A Player of the Year in high school that season. mostly as an attacker, but now she's playing back for the Beavers. Williams on the ground. No. Ellsworth. Pickett trying to save it. Does. Brady with it. Williams turns. On the ground, Brady's shot, and it's knocked away. Skiba able to prevent that one from going in. And we've seen some terrific combination play from Stanford in sequences throughout this one. Add that one to the list. "60 minutes in here on the farm. 3-0 Stanford leading Oregon State. Troy Clarity, glad you're with us. Sarah Paulson taking the corner with the left foot. Up towards the top of the 18. Trying to extend it. Instead, the Beavers win that battle. Pickett, after sizing things up, keeps it on the far side. Towards the touchline. She tried to leave it in Coleman's direction, but instead knocked out of bounds. 3-0, Stanford has been in the lead since the 7th minute of this match. Maya Doms from about 25 yards out, putting one in the upper shelf. Kiki Pickett getting on the board, finishing off a transition off an Oregon State corner to make it 2-0 in the 25th. And Astrid Wheeler could be the first of many goals. A bunch of folks around here are hoping for the Cardinals. She got on the board in the 41st minute. Ellsworth to start things off. Referee says, hey, move the ball forward a little bit. Okay, that's good, right? Maybe a bit too far forward. So Skiba will handle it instead. Aim towards Studer, which is always a good idea if you're Oregon State. Chipped out. Coleman and Freed in a foot race. Back to Williams, almost finds Doms. Instead, Haley Richardson comes in. Good ball to McReynolds, but spins out of bounds. Richardson, the freshman from Great Falls, Virginia. This is actually the first game she's played in over 2 weeks. Hadn't played since Oregon State's close call against UCLA on March 7th. Beavers took the Bruins to overtime that day before UCLA got the 2-1 win. UCLA was ranked number 3 in the country at the time. Goes down after the slide tackle from Brady. Just outside the box. And Studer perhaps getting a bit too much of a head of steam for Brady's liking. There's the slide tackle. Studer smartly going to ground. Whether she had help or not. Well, last time McReynolds sent a high heater. It had a lot of pace on it. This is always an intriguing spot to have a free kick from, with Meyer sizing things up. McReynolds off the wall. The scramble for it. And the Cardinal maintain possession. Katie Meyer with a smile. Tells everyone, get up, go forward. Helena Brown locked up with a Cardinal attacker on the far side, but the ball sails beyond everyone, and Sarah Paulson gives it up to a Stanford teammate as Brown got called for the foul. The Paulson twins from St. Francis High School in Mountain View, not too far away from here. Front foot. Skiba there to cover it. I believe that was Wesley in the area. And that was a well-placed ball from Sarah Paulson. Schwartz has to play it back towards Richardson. She doesn't have a clean shot. We play on. In the corner. Well, you can sense the Beavers starting to pick things up here a bit. And trying to turn up the tempo. Why not? Down 3-0 with the match now in the 67th minute. Time is becoming more and more of a factor as this match goes on. Amy Sayer coming back in for the Cardinal. And that is certainly good news for Stanford and Paul Ratcliffe. We've seen Astrid Wheeler get on the board for Stanford, a much ballyhooed freshman here stateside, but Amy Sayer on an international level. A lot expected of that young lady. Amy's actually on the full Australian national team. So Ratcliffe glad that she is back out. And as we mentioned, Astrid Wheeler, she comes back into the match, replacing Maya Doms. But Sayer could be a very, very intriguing player to watch in the years to come for the Cardinal. Stanford continues its Cardinal pipeline to Australia. B.D. Goad here for the last few years. Taken away by Oregon State. Been physical at times in the middle. You would expect that. To Sayer. Taken away by Ellsworth. Tries to hit Tetz. Pickett with other ideas. Outfoxes two defenders. Outside to Coleman. Coleman heading down the touchline, trying to keep it alive. Almost does. Well, that was terrific stuff, number one, by Pickett, sending two defenders completely the other way. And then on the touchline, Coleman not giving up, giving Kaylin Freed everything she can handle defensively. Tetz looking around. Kaylin says, I got it. McReynolds doubled. Aimed it towards Tetz. Instead it falls to Engie. Across the goal mouth, a bit dangerous. Stanford tries to clear. And Oregon State to throw it in. And a foul called on Oregon State, the linesman on the far side making the signal. Well, obviously the last 12 months have been unusual for everyone in the country and around the world, with COVID-19 having its impact and creeping into every facet of our everyday lives. I asked Oregon State head coach Matt Kagan what the last 12 months have been like for him, and he said, well, number one, I've got some pretty serious Zoom fatigue. Amen to that. But he said that he's just trying to make this season as normal as he possibly can. Difficult to do with teams playing on Friday, Sunday, some teams playing indoor games. That's Coleman. Back to Brady. Nope. Couldn't hang on to it. Brady to Coleman was something special to watch at the end of the Colorado game. They tried to pull off the same thing in reverse. Meanwhile, Studer taking it forward. This is something she can do. She puts it on frame and scores. Holy smoke! Sydney Studer. And the Beavs are on the board in a big-time way. Well, Sydney Studer says her sister Jenna down at Arizona is a more natural center back because Sydney admits she prefers to go forward sometimes. She has to stop herself from going forward sometimes. Well, that time she comes forward, and it works. Boy, what a strike. Studer's fourth goal of the year. So the Beavers get one back, and now it's back to a 2-goal advantage. Man, a battle of long-distance goals. Maya Doms in the 7th minute, and now this from Sydney Studer. Boy, that was incredible stuff. And all of Studer's goals coming into this one this season had come off corner kicks. Williams to the touch line. As Freed goes to ground, a corner kick, or checked out a goal kick rather, for Oregon State. But Studer's 3 goals came in the first, or at least they came in the first 2 games of the season. She also scored against UCLA down on March 7th. And as a freshman in 2019, or 2018, check that, she actually led the team in minutes played. And she was still 17 years old, so her parents had to sign a lot of paperwork to make sure that everything was okay. But Studer, from moment one in Corvallis, has made a tremendous impact. And boy, that is as memorable a goal as you're going to see. And when Matt Kagan says Sydney Studer is going to play in the NWSL, you look at plays like that, and maybe a couple others that she's had along the way here tonight, you go, yeah, that tracks. Pickett clears. Williams ahead. Brown in pursuit defensively for Oregon State. And Brown wins for the moment. Stanford able to get it back. Sayer has it for a moment, gets it back. Coleman had a little room, thought she might give it a go. Pickett. And taken away by Oregon State and sent out of bounds. Well, as we were discussing Matt Kagan in the last 12 months for him, he said, look, I've been trying to make this season as normal as I possibly can. It isn't easy, and let's face it, this isn't a normal season, but very happy with the team's buy-in and very happy with his staff. He says that his assistant coaches have come to every game with a fantastic plan every single time out. And the support staff as well, who have certainly made every effort to make sure that the team is playing and that everyone is out there and doing what it needs to be doing. So Kagan leading the Oregon State Beavers appears to have this program in the right direction. This year, it just hasn't quite shown up in the results. To Coleman. Played forward towards Ellsworth. Williams. With Wheeler in hot pursuit. Studer, the shield. Goal kick for Oregon State. Less than 15 minutes remaining in regulation. Stanford ahead of Oregon State, 3-1. Cardinal going out to a 3-0 lead with Doms, Pickett, and Wheeler getting in the goal-scoring column for the Cardinal, and Sidney Studer, the lone goal to this point for Oregon State, with Paige Rubenstein coming back into the match. She saw a few minutes of action in the first half. Rubenstein from Davis, California. Same hometown, same high school as Maya Doms. We saw Doms come off a few minutes ago as Meyer puts a big foot in that one. Saw Doms come off a few minutes ago. She hasn't been 100% with her health physically this season. The center, Schwartz lets it go. That's off the top of the net. Schwartz with the quick trigger and the left foot after the turn. As that was nifty stuff. Schwartz, a former figure skater. Might have seen some of those skills come into play in that sequence. I believe that's Weinert. There's Weinert trying to make sure that everything is okay and stretched out. Well, the road ahead for the Stanford Cardinal, very intriguing one. Oregon here on Sunday. Then a road trip to the Grand Canyon State, Arizona and Arizona State. Then USC coming to Kagan on April the 9th. And just outside of that is Stanford UCLA on April 11th. That game potentially looming large in the Pac-12 standings. A reminder, even though Stanford has lost to two Pac-12 teams already this year, neither of those matches were in conference play. So Stanford entered today in second place in the Pac-12 at 3-1. Studer takes it out. Schwartz on the move. Gets past Sayre. Schwartz lets loose. Nope. Wide of the net. Mentioned the Pac-12 standings with Stanford in second place. To begin the day, UCLA, the only undefeated team in Pac-12 play to this point. And at last check, late in that one, Bruins with a 1-0 lead over Arizona State, that game in the 83rd minute. So the horse race in the Pac-12 always so much fun to watch. And this year promises to be no different. But certainly at the rate that both of these teams are going, both of those teams are going, Stanford, UCLA, just circle that one on your calendar on April the 11th. USC will be a barn burner as well a couple days before. And how about Arizona State? The season it's had so far. As the Sun Devils in the rankings, doing some things that program hasn't done in a while. That's nifty to see. Richardson to the outside. And Stanford trying to track it down. Mentioned Arizona State. They've just tied it up against UCLA in the 83rd minute. So that game at 1 apiece down in Westwood. So as soon as I say good things about the Sun Devils, they come through. Brianna Pizarro coming back into the match. Nassau County's leading scorer during her high school days back on Long Island. As we're closing in on 10 minutes remaining in regulation. Helena Brown to throw it in. And she'll do it again. Pizarro, watch her left foot. Absorbed by Rubenstein. Williams. Back to Engie. Cardinal pushing over to the far side. Williams versus Freed. That's been fun to watch all evening. Oregon State player goes flying over the top. I believe that was Nickerson. Chance for Oregon State. Schwartz, I believe, tried to get it out towards Nickerson, but the miss hit may have been caught between two thoughts as the foot went into the ground before it hit the ball cleanly. Takedown. Heading towards the touchline. Engie with it. And finally clearing it. And now the whistle blows. Boy, McReynolds is going to be sore after this one, if she isn't already. As she walks back towards the Oregon State bench. Road ahead for the Beavers is a continuation in some respects of what's already been a tough schedule for them. In the immediate future, they have to head over to Berkeley to face the California Golden Bears. That game to take place on Sunday afternoon. They'll host the Mountain Schools next weekend. And then the trip to Pullman, followed by a trip to Seattle. And then finish up the regular season with the Oregon Ducks. Oregon State's 2-0 loss to Oregon last week was a non-conference affair. But that match in Eugene on April the 16th will count in Pac-12 play. McReynolds coming off. Matt Hagan saying, hey, everything okay? Meanwhile, Stanford perhaps feeling a bit better about things now than they were certainly this time around 6 days ago. But As for Oregon State, 0-5 in Pac-12 play, appears to be headed towards 0-6. Chances tougher for them this time around. I mean, a Boffo goal by Sidney Studer, that is certainly one of the highlights and should make the overall Pac-12 women's soccer highlight reel for this season. But outside of that, tough sledding overall for Oregon State tonight. Eileen Gorzinski in the match, replacing Brianna McReynolds, who came off. Gorzinski, a redshirt junior from Corvallis, Oregon. Corvallis High School, as a matter of fact. Corvallis fashions itself as the best college town in the Pac-12. No arguments from me on that. Cardinal towards Williams, and Skiba able to collect it before Williams can do damage. Three saves on the night for Bridget Skiba. Wheeler has a goal tonight. So does Pickett. Meyer calls off Wesley. Barring something absolutely incredible, does not appear that the Beavers will get the result in this match. As off goes Williams again. Finds a teammate. The shot wide of the net. That was Paige Rubenstein with the one-timer, and a perfect idea as well. But just wide of the post. Cardinal have worked on transition and getting things finished off throughout much of the week. As Williams, good through ball. Rubenstein with a good idea, but unable to finish. I believe that's Harbor, who loses her footing. Ellsworth takes advantage. I believe though Oregon State, it appears, will not get the result that it was looking for here today. There's still certainly a lot to be excited about soccer-wise on that campus. As things looking up in a lot of ways, certainly trending in the right direction. And the men's program has just been outstanding as well. Gloria Amanda, boy, what a bunch of fun he is to watch, along with the rest of that Beaver squad. Adrian Crespo. So a lot to like, soccer-wise, for Oregon State. Might have gotten a hand. There was also a bit of contact in the area as well. Meanwhile, for Stanford, they appear to be off to a much-needed win, getting a measure of revenge of sorts for the result in Corvallis back on February 28th. Only the second time ever that Oregon State has beaten Stanford. They will not extend that streak here today, as we have 5 minutes to go. And that's a good sight. McReynolds back in. Tough evening for that young lady. And they're going to need her again on Sunday when the Beavers head to Berkeley to face the Bears. And as mentioned, for Stanford, entering the night in second place in the conference, all it needs to do is keep pace. All it needs to do is keep getting positive results. And then that weekend when USC and UCLA come to town, that could very well tell the story. Now, obviously, the earlier losses in the season will have an impact on RPI and all those sorts of things, and we'll worry about that when things get closer to the NCAA tournament. That's always fun. But when it comes to the Pac-12 crown, Stanford's won the last 5. I would certainly not leave them out of the mix for winning it all in the conference again here in 2020, especially with players like that, Savannah Coleman. Pickett loses it for a moment. Weinert able to slide it away. Studer playing a bit forward. Terrific through ball, trying to win the race. Spills off Meyer, and she hangs on for dear life. With McReynolds and Jackson lurking. Boy, that is a terrific ball from Studer. But Meyer able to handle it. Get the ball away. Jackson, by the way, is going to be a player to watch, I think, for Oregon State in the years to come, the freshman from Susanville. Has done terrific things to this point, and is doing it while living with type 1 diabetes. They caught it early on, and they've been able to manage it. She wears what the team calls the beat bop machine, and that's her insulin pump. And she wears a monitor that alerts the team trainer if her blood sugars are too low. So they were able to get that diagnosed years ago as a youngster for Amber Jackson, and they've been able to manage it. It certainly hasn't slowed her down, certainly not through her high school career. She played multiple sports and did all of them well. And off to a good start so far in her soccer career in Corvallis. There's Amber. Two minutes to go. In the corner, and out of bounds. They're going to overtime in Westwood. Arizona State won, UCLA won. Bruins in the top spot in the Pac-12 tonight. Sun Devils not that far behind. But in between those two teams is the Stanford Cardinal. Stanford will stay in that position after tonight's result. Pickett. Pickett. Outside Coleman. Coleman. Nope. Ski to touch it on the way out. Coleman says she did. The official says nope. But it's okay. Stanford's up by 2 in the final minute of this one. Off McReynolds' foot. Wesley out of bounds, and the Beavers out of time. Stanford back in the win column as they beat Oregon State. Maya Doms, Kiki Pickett, and Astrid Wheeler with first half goals for Stanford. And those 3 goals stand up for the entire 90 minutes. Cardinal beat the Beavers 3-1. Stanford now 5-3 on the year, 4-1 in Pac-12 play, while Oregon State falls to 2-8 and 0-6 in Pac-12 play. We'll put the wrap on things from Kagan Stadium in just a moment. Cardinal beat the Beavers 3-1.